Welcome to Eduimagica, the medical mystery education hub. Today we will learn about the human excretory system. So without delay or ado, let's begin. The human excretory system is one of the most important organ systems of the body that performs the vital function of filtering of blood and removing excessive and unnecessary materials from the body. This removal of the unwanted and the unnecessary materials helps to maintain an internal chemical homeostasis which prevents the body. In this video, we are going to learn about the human excretory system. And in a narrow sense, the human excretory system refers to the urinary system. However, as excretion involves several other organs, it is important to understand that the human excretory system is a wide term, which also includes organs like skin, lungs, gut, hair, and nails. The skin is responsible for the removal of the several ions, lungs for the removal of the carbon dioxide, the gut for the removal of the undigested food, and the hair and nails for the removal of the heavy metals. In this video, we will learn about the urinary system. Before beginning, if you are new to our channel, make sure to click on the subscribe button below to get all the notifications for the upcoming scribe education videos. So let's begin with the urinary system. The human urinary system consists of a pair of kidney, a pair of ureters, a urinary bladder, and a urethra. The renal artery supplies the kidney with the fresh blood while the renal vein drains the blood from the kidney. So we can say that the main hero of the urinary system is this pair of kidney. Kidney do the main job of filtering the blood and removing the waste product. The rest of the urinary system is just a storage unit and provides pathway. Kidney is a bean-shaped pair organ. The average size of an adult human kidney is about 10 to 13 cm long, 5 to 7.5 cm wide, and about 2 to 2.5 cm thick. A kidney weight approximately 150 to 160 gram. Together, both the kidney weight about 0.5% of total human body weight. And the right kidney is slightly lower than the left kidney due to the anatomical positioning of the liver. Each kidney has a convex and the concave border. The concave border has a notch-like structure known as hilum, from where the blood vessels enters and exit the kidney. If we take a cut section of the kidney, we will be able to see the internal structures of kidney. The internal structure is divided into two regions, the renal cortex and the renal medulla. The renal cortex is the outermost region, whereas the renal medulla consists of 12 to 15 cone-shaped pyramids. Renal cortex runs in a continuous manner and forms a number of projections that extend down between the pyramids. As I told you earlier that hilum is a place where the blood vessels enters and exit the kidney. So the blood vessels enter the kidney through the renal artery. The renal artery get divided into the small branches. These small branches ultimately go to the cortex and divides into smaller branches known as the capillaries. The cortex region consists of the number of nephrons. These nephrons are responsible for the filtration, and these nephrons are the structural and the functional unit of kidney. The number of nephrons in each kidney is approximately 1 million. We will talk about the detailed structure of nephrons and the functioning of the urine formation in the upcoming video. Now let's move forward and learn about the ureters. The urine that is formed in the kidney is then passed down with the help of these structures, which are known as the ureters. These ureters are 25 to 30 cm long tube that exit the kidney through hilum and run down into the urinary bladder. The walls of the ureter has smooth muscles in them that helps to propel urine forward from kidney into the urinary bladder. Now let's talk about the urinary bladder. The urinary bladder is basically the storage unit in the human body. In human, the bladder is a hollow muscular and distensible organ that sits on the pelvic floor. Urine enters the bladder via the ureters and exits via the urethra. The walls are made up of muscular walls. It has a folded internal lining known as rugae, which allows it to accommodate up to 400 to 600 ml of urine in healthy adults. Now let's take a look at the anatomy of the bladder. As we know that urine comes into the urinary bladder through ureter, and urinary bladder is also covered by the peritoneum. Here we can see the ureteric meatus on the left side. We can see the trigone at the bottom. We can also see the bladder neck, and we can see the urethra as well. The walls are covered by the detrusal muscle. If we take histological section, we will be able to see the transitional epithelium, the lamina propria, the submucosa, and the muscular wall that is formed by the detrusal muscle. This was a brief introduction about the anatomy of the bladder. Now let's talk about the bladder stretch reflex. The bladder stretch reflex is a primitive spinal reflex in which micturition is stimulated in response to stretch the bladder wall. It is analogous to a muscle spinal reflex such as the patellar reflex. During the toilet training in infants, this spinal reflex is overridden by the higher centers of the nervous activity or of the brain to give the voluntary control over micturition. Now let's talk about the reflex arch of bladder stretch reflex. At the very first, the bladder fills with urine and the bladder walls stretch. When the bladder walls are stretched, then the sensory nerves detect the stretch reflex and transmit this information to the spinal cord. Then the interneurons within the spinal cord relay the signal to the parasympathetic efferent fibers of the pelvic nerve. Then the pelvic nerve acts to contract the detrusal muscles and stimulate the micturition. Although it is non-functional in post-childhood, the bladder stretch reflex needs to be considered in spinal injuries, where the descending inhibition cannot reach the bladder, and in the neurodegenerative diseases, where the brain is unable to create inhibition. Now let's talk about the urethra. The urethra is a long tube-like structure. The urethra expels the urine out. The significantly urethra is longer in males. It is about 20 cm in males and 4 cm in females. Due to this, the chances of urinary tract infection is higher in females. Let's talk about some other functions of the kidney. Kidney is responsible for maintaining the proper volume of fluids in the body. It is also responsible for maintaining the proper level of ions present in the body. It helps in maintaining a proper pH of the body. It helps in regulation of the blood pressure and in the formation of the vitamin D. This was all about the human excretory system. Hope you liked the video. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on different social media platforms. Link for the same is in description below. And don't forget to subscribe us.